got to look out for the people. How do you feel, Elon, that this issue has almost virtually completely been covered by independent journalists? There was a little bit of coverage over the past decade about the child sexual abuse material problem on Twitter, but virtually there was very, very little. I was always shocked at how little the corporate media wanted to cover this issue, even after the John Doe 1 and John Doe 2 case dropped. How do you feel about independent journalists
Well,
taking this
yeah.
lead?
In general, I'm a huge fan of citizen journalism, um, because it seems like there's the narrative in terms of like what actually gets put in newspapers uh, is set by maybe half a dozen or maybe even as few as three uh, editor-in-chiefs of like say the Washington Post, the New York Times, and the Wall Street Journal. And then if they don't, if it's not important to them, then it just doesn't show up. So, but 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 with Twitter, there's an opportunity for the citizens to come together and publish and things that are important to the people. And so I think that's actually incredibly powerful, and it's a new thing that we want to encourage as much as possible. That's why we want to have like long form tweets, and so you can actually write something in depth, um, and and figure out ways to get just high quality reporting on whatever the matter is um, surfaced, so people can actually see it. Um, so anyway, I'm a big fan of citizen journalism in general, and the real time nature of Twitter as well. So it's interactive as opposed to say a newspaper article, which is kind of a one way. That's just information flowing one way towards people, but with no real ability to interact with that information. Um, and, uh, and actually, the thing is that sometimes people are like, well, citizen journalism isn't that like someone who's not like an expert journalist? I'm like, well, actually, no, because citizen journalism is like people writing who really know about the subject, who are expert in the subject being written about, and maybe then they're not like they didn't go to journalism school or but they actually are much better experts in the area of that's being written or talked about. So this is actually higher quality information, I think, than would come from a newspaper, not lower quality.
Elon, I have a question for you. When you read articles that they say, for instance, you are doing nothing against this topic, but in reality you are doing and you are doing well, how do you feel?
Well, I mean, I've been attacked so many times in the media, it's insane. So, I mean, that's not to say I don't have feelings, and sometimes it is quite hurtful to read things that are the total opposite of the truth. Um, but I am, there is the ability on Twitter to correct it, and for me, for at times when I'm wrong, to be corrected in turn by others on Twitter. So the, I think, but that's where I think as Twitter improves the signal to noise, where it's like more and more useful information, that is where you learn things where it's entertaining or beautiful, um, and we obviously want to get rid of like scams and spam and any kind of exploitation. I think it'd be really something wonderful, and a good force for good for civilization. That's the vision for Twitter. And I think it'd also be like way more positive than the press. Like if you read the newspapers, it's like it's like in any given newspaper, what percentage of the articles are positive about anything at all? Um, Almost all the articles are negative. So then, I mean, that's the thing that tends to happen is if there's a subject that's newsworthy, like let's say like you're just writing about, like my name will just generate clicks, right? So if you've got a combination of, like say like my name that will generate clicks, and then a newspaper having a very negative bias in general, then this is just going to result in a lot of negative stories. It's just like a machine, basically. Um, So, but like I said, we can correct this on Twitter, and I think over time, as people, if we're doing our job well at Twitter, then people will increasingly see Twitter as the source of truth, and to understand what's really going on, and they will turn away from traditional media and more towards Twitter, and that will provide a competitive force for other media to be more truthful, or they will simply keep losing more and more of the public's attention.
Elon, what made you want to purchase Twitter? What was the exact thing that made you want to purchase Twitter? And what was the exact moment that you realized you wanted to make the removal of child sexual exploitation your top priority at Twitter?
Well, the two are separate, because I didn't actually know about the child sexual exploitation, the severity of the issue. My concern was just in general that Twitter seemed to be drifting in a bad direction. It just, I can't quite put my finger on it. It's not like there was one moment. It's like sometimes people's like, oh, is the Babylon Bee got banned? Like, listen, this is I'm not paying $44 billion to reinstate a satire website. Okay, that would be insane. Babylon Bee is fine, but it's not like that's not the reason. So it's just like we need to have, like I said, like a digital public square that is maximally inclusive of the population, where people feel like they can have their say, and that there's not some sort of thumb on the scale, maybe hiding bad information or being politically in one direction or another, but that it's a fair and level playing field. And it just felt like the playing field was just tilting more and more, and there was less attention to bad things that were going on. I don't know, it made me worried about the future of civilization, frankly. So I was like, okay, man, this really needs to go in a good direction, but it just seems to be going in a steadily worse direction over time. I better try to do something about it, and that's what prompted the sort of acquisition offer. And then it was a few weeks after that maybe even a week after that the magnitude of the child sexual exploitation stuff became apparent. And then as soon as I learned that, I was like, wait a second, this is crazy. It's got to be priority number one. And Eliza, you and Andrea were like key in bringing that forward, and then Ella internally. So thank you for doing that. And as soon as that became apparent, we immediately made it number one priority. And with your help, we've made a lot of progress, and we'll keep at it. So it's going to be a constant battle, but we'll keep at it.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I mean, it's been my honor to serve my fellow survivors. I'd do it all again in a heartbeat, and it wasn't easy. How involved have three-letter agencies been behind the scenes of Twitter? I'm sorry, I'm shifting gears here, but I have to know, FBI, NSA, CIA. Now that you've had an opportunity to look under the hood a little bit, what exactly are we looking at as American citizens and citizens of the globe with our three-letter agencies behind the scenes at Twitter?
Well, first I'd say, like, it's probably not the case that those agencies are monolithic in that it's, they're big agencies. I've had some interaction with the FBI over the years, but I've had more interaction with the CIA, frankly, actually, my general perception of people at the CIA is that they're good people. I mean, maybe not everyone's good, but the people that I've met at the CIA are good. I've met fewer people at the FBI, but I'm sure there are a lot of good people at the FBI, and most people, probably good motivations. I haven't seen any sort of smoking gun thing yet. But if we do find something that shows questionable collusion, then we will surface it and bring it to light. So yeah.
Do you believe, sorry, Elon, do you believe that there's a situation with Twitter that will be revealed with the Twitter files where the United States government infringed on any American citizens' First Amendment right?
It's certainly possible. I think we're just trying to get to the bottom of that, and if that turns out to be the case, we will certainly bring it to light.
Sorry, I shifted gears, but we're here now. The other Twitter files dropped today. I know folks are going to be like, oh, you're not asking Elon these questions. My primary focus is always going to be, child sexual exploitation on Twitter. But these other issues are so captivating to me because I'm getting an opportunity through the Twitter files to see how Twitter was censoring, innocent citizens' speech, words, thoughts, ideas, while refusing to remove the human rights violation of child sexual abuse material and exploitation at scale.
Yeah, I mean that is, it's unbelievable. Frankly, it's terrible. So, well, I mean, our goal is to address these issues. Like I said, child sexual exploitation stuff is number one priority, and then just also ensuring that Twitter is an even playing field from a political standpoint, so there's no preference for one party or another, domestically or internationally, and in general, like I said, to try to serve as much good as possible for the future of civilization. I mean, I have only been on the job for about 5 weeks here, so it's not a long time, but I think we've made a lot of progress in that time, and I think that progress will accelerate.
I'm very proud of you. You gave me the Elon effect with the child sexual exploitation. I can't wait to see. I'm very proud of you. I am, and I appreciate it. And I'm proud of the team that you've assembled, and I have a feeling I will continue to be proud of you. You've blown my mind, and I was Twitter's biggest hater. The receipts show that I was Twitter's biggest hater. So I'm so proud of you, Elon. This is such a big deal, and I think as time passes, you'll see lives that are saved as a result of these changes. And I'm not saying that lightly. You will see children's lives are saved as a result of these changes at Twitter. And so
well, that's great. I mean, hopefully lives are saved and lives are also improved. And just like I said, we want to make this a force for good. So it's not going to be perfect, but we'll try our damnedest to make sure it's good. And I think I'm pretty good at executing on the technology front. So I feel like together with the rest of the Twitter team, we can really make a difference here. So I gotta sign off at this point, but as always, I'm available if there's any action we need to take. And thanks again for all your help.
Thank you so much, Elon. I know your time is very valuable and very precious, and we appreciate you popping on today. And hopefully you get a chance to look at that report. Your mind will be blown. Your mind will be blown.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's not great.
Okay.
I mean, it's great it's great what they've done, but it's not great what I mean, we all knew what it was, but I think